Um, Sorry we missed the noon time. I've been in data hell all morning. I mean, this thing, something's gonna get fixed or I'm gonna go find those ninja people. Anyway, um, I think I've got everything resolved, but crude oil this morning, I think where we left off was looking back here first thing in the morning to see that uh, we were trading above settlement. That's the first thing you need to assess. And if you notice, this blue midline on ICE is usually darn close to settlement. So those two give you a pretty good idea if the market is above or below those, where it's not going to be set in stone, and you certainly don't want to bet the farm on anything when you're trading futures, but it gives you a good indication that the bias for the market is up for the morning, at least. Oh, my goodness. Too many buttons and I clicked too many times. Anyway, when this took off, this is the first E of the first green E. So that one usually gets a triangle to indicate that this is not, we do not have a trend change yet. We're waiting for the second one. So when the second one came, we circle that one and we say, okay, thank you, we've got a trend change. When those come so close, we're right here at the green ice line, and yes, we had a magnet right here, but when those things come so close to the high of the day, you don't really know if it's going to go up and test that high, if it's going to blow through it. It could reject it there. So this might be a scalping trade for 10 or 12 ticks, but I wouldn't be too happy about taking this, expecting much. Expect a few ticks, but it will take huge volume to go beyond there. So if you notice, then we got a high of the day here, and we got this to turn around. Great run down here. You could have taken an entry. The trend catcher put a confirmed entry right here. There is a deviation level here. I hope you're starting to get just how important those deviation levels. They are incredibly good to have. And then as long as this continues down, and what's happening with our deviation mountain, it's just sliding on down the other side. As long as it keeps sliding down the other side, you can expect these price bars to keep going down. The exit, if you had taken that entry, you've got some different possibilities. Just take profit at the magnet and be happy. If you want to squeeze a few more, you could start trailing very tightly right here. It's at 745. You could have checked your 6 tick to see if that would give you an idea right here below this magnet. And yes, it went down. There's a green institutional zone right here. So you might have been able to get a few more ticks out of that by simply reverting to your 6 tick to see just how much you might be able to squeeze out of it. But knowing that certainly when it got into this area, it was going to give up the ghost, or at least chop around. So then you can have another trade going north here. The trend catcher would have given you a a confirmation right here. You can take this, same thing, back up here. You can use your 6-tick to see if it'll give you a little bit more. It certainly took you right up to this deviation level right here, and even on up, you could squeeze a few more ticks up to the bottom of this, even maybe get to the next magnet. So this is kind of how you gauge what the trades are and what the possibilities are. When you start to see this business and expect it, these are big streets here. This green ice line, expect it. The market will move around. The bus driver's just going to drive around here until he gets enough passengers to go one way or the other. Down here, I wanted to show one other thing to you. This is what I will avoid this like the plague. I cannot stand this stuff. Some people will trade this off of the 6-tick, this area right in here. But this is what I call bad guy country. Right here. Everybody says this is, to me, this is but if you're wondering what's happening right here, is this an elevator? Is this, I'm oblivious to these elevators. Lori is really good with them. But this, this zone right here, let me see if I can get this and move it right over here. This is what I call bad guy country right here. I hate that with a passion. And that deviation does a real good job of pointing that out to you. And at this point, I don't even look at this until somebody can convince me it's going to go one way or the other. In August, crude oil is very difficult to trade. So don't get discouraged with this. It's the season to be extremely cautious and just try to study as much as you can and trade as little as you can. Keep it in demo. Finally, we're getting another E over here. So this would be a circled E. It's the second one. Finally. And there again, if you wanted to take it from the from this magnet right here up to, expect the green ice line. If you got any more out of that, that's the time to go over here to your 6-tick and see if it is possible you might be able to squeeze a little bit more out of there. But these are very tough to trade. So with that, I'm getting a lot more confidence in these zones. I really like these zones and our ice bands and our levels. I never can get straight which is the ice and which is the institutional volume. That's what that is. Sometimes this stuff is a little easier to see over here on this chart. Another thing I wanted to point out to you that was, you don't see this very often. See this on the 10-minute, you're kind of wondering, it opened right here, this bar opened right here, and this was at 1040. This is right after the inventory report came out, and the market will fiddle around and try to decide what it wants to do, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what's it going to do? Is it going to go up? And it did clear the green ice, but when you get one of these tall covering bars that is so much bigger than the small bar, it is likely to continue down. It didn't do that. Put in right here these two between this one and this one. It put in a double bottom right there, but didn't last. Boy, when it decided, this big tall bar right here can give you a darn good indication that the bus driver may jerk you around for a little while, but he's likely going south. So today at least, our big line in the sand down here, 42.85, was rejected. Tried 2 or 3 times. So we'll just have to see tomorrow if it if crude oil goes below that and closes below that, then we may have some lower pricing on crude oil. So that's anybody have any questions for me? I will stay here for a couple of minutes. I've got to run an errand pretty quick, but if that's all there is. Oh, this is a good thing to notice too, especially if you're not used to reading these candles. Do you see this? This is a doji right here with a real high wick on it. That is dojis are always an indication of an indecision, but when it's real high like this down here, then the market is most likely going down from that. This can often indicate the high of a trend. All right. So with that, I will see you all tomorrow morning. Don't get discouraged about trading crude oil in this environment. It's very difficult for anybody. So practice and demo, and tomorrow we'll have another look at it. Have a very nice afternoon, and at least you got most of my view from my world. And this is Wednesday. So we'll see what Thursday brings. Take care.